Hello and welcome, folks and football fans, here to the Michigan Panthers podcast. The one, the only podcast here for the Michigan Panthers of the United Football League. And I know what you're thinking, because I can read minds now, folks. Who is that mustachioed man screaming about spring football in my ear? Well, I'll tell you. You don't have to be so aggressive.
You ever made out with a tugboat?
I'm FBI Tugboat commentator, announcer, host extraordinaire. I also love spring football because I am not defined by my career, which is traditionally within esports and some other traditional sports. FBI underscore Tugboat on literally everything if you guys want to, whatever. So, getting on into it. Intro done. Let's go on in. And yes, folks, we have as it says right there, we have an insane amount of bitching here. And first, before we get into the preview, I did it right that time, guys. Oh my God, what is going on here? I was just over there, the H-Town Pick'ems podcast. We were talking about that a little bit. Guys, okay, so you go through a regular season, playoffs get figured out at a certain point, like they do in pretty much every single competitive league, and what do you have to play for after that? Even in a league with only 8 teams, well, that's for seeding. That's for where the divisional championship is going to be played. Well, not anymore, guys, because we Michigan Panthers, we have 2 great rivals, as was seen this previous week. First and foremost, extra point conversions. Tried from the 1, tried from the 2, tried from the 3, missed all of them. Missed all of them. We've been trying from the 1 a whole lot. Well, maybe there's a reason, because we can't seem to make a damn extra point conversion regardless. But the reason I'm so upset here today is, of course, our greatest rival of all, and that is the graduation proceedings for Wayne State Community College. Not Wayne State, as many of you may know, but the collegiate powerhouse that is Wayne State Community College. Folks, I am a simple man. When I say that, I mean stupid, okay? What I need is somebody to be angry at when things don't go my way, okay? I need somebody to point the finger at, go on Twitter, go on my burner accounts, and trash them. I'm kidding, of course, but seriously, guys, like, the worst thing about this is I don't know exactly who to be angry at, right? Is this Ford Field? Is this the UFL? Is this somebody within the managerial position within the Michigan Panthers? Is this the NFL? Or like, was this some kind of influence? I don't know who to be angry at, guys. I suppose I haven't exactly stated exactly what the hell I'm so pissed off about. But it was announced about 4 or 5 days ago, I believe here with the UFM cracked it originally, that yes, it is confirmed the USFL Championship will be at the Birmingham Stallions no matter what, because Wayne State Community College graduation proceedings will be held at Ford Field on that Saturday. Period. In a story, go screw yourself if you want a different result, okay? I am... I'm frazzled, okay, guys? And you guys know how infrequently I use that word. I'm frazzled. I'm upset. And again, the worst thing is I don't know who is to blame here. What it feels like is Ford Field basically giving the middle finger to the Michigan Panthers, being like, well, sorry, guys, you were rated to be the worst team coming in the UFL, not just in the USFL division, but in the UFL period. We were rated 8th, like on pretty much everybody, 7th or 8th, 6th at best, okay? And we come forth here, 6-2, clinch a playoff spot, and we're essentially told, hey, go screw yourselves, because even if you win out, even if you beat the Birmingham Stallions at home, it will not matter. Yes, it'll break their undefeated streak as long as they, win against San Antonio this upcoming week in Week 9, but it still doesn't matter. Seeding, oh well, what's that? We're just going to go ahead and give it away. And everybody else who talks about, oh, home field advantage, blah, blah, this is not a slight at Josh of the San Antonio Brahmas bullpen podcast, but I cannot agree less with the idea that home field just doesn't matter, especially given that it's something that you play for, right? Now, why would teams in the USFL really go hard and heavy? Obviously, the XFL division is figured out, but, there's a little bit up and down there, right? And also, given the fact that one of those teams is not undefeated, there's a couple of... like both the St. Louis Battlehawks and the San Antonio Brahmas are 6-2. They have both proved that they can bleed. They're the same exact record. They still have something to prove after that, right? Especially San Antonio playing against the Birmingham Stallions this week, given that even though they're in the other division, they have also clinched. They are undefeated, of course, right? But it burns my britches. Burns my britches so much to watch this team that has defied expectations, that has gone forth and done categorically better than pretty much everybody on this damn planet expected them to do, just to get told 2 weeks outside of the last weeks, like, oh, hey, you know, even if you did what nobody thought you could do at the beginning of the season, and now only slightly more people think that you could do, which is win out and then beat the Birmingham Stallions at home, even if you do that, it does not matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. Top seeding is going to the top seeding. You can take it. You can still do it. It doesn't matter because we don't get home field advantage. You're talking about things to play for and stuff like that, folks. What a way to just shoot that right in the heart and let it die on the side of the road. My God, this is the last. I love this league. I love spring football. I've been so disenchanted with the NFL in the past years, and I love this league. But there's so many decisions like that are just bash your head against a wall, just frustrating, illogical, the whole 9 yards. Okay, like it just. In a chaotic world, I try and look for logic and reason for a lot of decisions, right? And a lot of you guys heard my tinfoil hat conspiracy about how how I said the UFL, you know, might be backloading these games so they have better reviews and stuff like that. I'm not, you know, honestly, half that is for content, right? But there's decisions like this that actually affect the competitive sport that is being played from professional against professional, right? And this is just shooting that right in the heart, right? This is not the exact same, but this is very similar to the whole Luis Perez trade last year with the Arlington Renegades. They trade away a lineman that it doesn't matter. You guys have all heard this. You guys have all heard this 1,000 times before. Like, obviously, it's not talked about as much. Whatever. But this is just so much more in your face to me. Perhaps that's because just because I'm not an Arlington Renegades fan. Like, not an Arlington Renegades hater, but not necessarily a homer, not a fan, not doing a podcast on their team. All right, that's enough. Shout out to Wayne State Community College. We never even thought you were in a competition. You guys still won. Good job. Good job. You get all 581 of your graduates to go forth and take 2 hours on a Saturday to walk through Ford Field, so it can look even emptier than it would for a Michigan Panthers game. Ha! I took it from you already. Whatever. Let's talk expansion talk here now. And perhaps like what and perhaps it kind of rolls in. It kind of rolls into the next expansion talk. Yes, came out. This is going to be what was everyone was talking about, at least 10 teams. I think so. There were some hopefuls out there that were like requiring 12 teams. You're talking about increasing the league size by 50% right there. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of new territories, a lot of new cities, and new fandoms that would need to be established first. I want a definitive product first, and I will be willing to I don't want to say put up, but like I would love 10 teams, because then that makes it so that half the league doesn't go to the playoffs, right? Like 4 out of 8 teams making it to the playoffs and getting a chance to go on to a championship just isn't as competitive to me. That's why I'd love to see 10 teams and whatnot. But regardless, the article that came out essentially said 2 things. Okay, first, that they were considering 10 teams and it's still a possibility, but they're very, very hard leaning towards just leaving it at 8 teams. The second part being that they're looking at relocation for Michigan Panthers, Houston Roughnecks. Houston Roughnecks currently playing in Rice with the Rice Owls, the collegiate team, playing there. The renovations on the Texas Union Workers, something like that, TECDC or TECD or something like this. Also down there, obviously in Texas, what would be their new location? Obviously, not new location. They'd be going back there, right? Especially with how empty Ford Field is looking, and with guys, just go look at like where exactly Ford Field is. It's right there in Chicago, right, or in Detroit. God, I do that all the time. It is literally right there in Detroit, right, right there in the middle of everything. I can't imagine the parking's easy to get there. That this is all the way blocks all the way through. So the idea was moved to either East Lansing, Michigan, or Ann Arbor. East Lansing being one of the bigger cities there in Michigan, not against that whatsoever. And when they say Ann Arbor, I hope they do not mean the big house. I hope they not mean the largest stadium in the Western Hemisphere, unless I'm wrong. I know it's the largest in North America. That is not the level of seating. That is not the level of seats available that we need by any means, right? What that does tell them, I mean, it can. I think it's 109,000 or something like that, guys. What that tells me, given the fact that Michigan packs that pretty frequently, is that there's a lot of football fans in the area, right? I would love to see Ann Arbor. I would almost need to see a very definitive reason why they'd want to stay at Ford Field outside of some kind of partnership with the Detroit Lions or something like this, right? That might be strengthened by a Jake Bates move to the Detroit Lions. Jake Bates obviously being one of the players on a short list. You'd have to say, like, we need to see this guy in the NFL next year. So as far as my takes, moving Houston, I mean, you got to, right? I would almost even say moving the Houston Roughnecks out of Texas. If you do that, for the love of God, go do away with this Roughnecks logo. I don't even understand it. The entire idea of having a guy who works on Oral Derrick as a mascot is just really, really, really weird to me, especially in the year 2024. Really, really weird. The Houston Gamblers were a fantastic, storied franchise. Came in from the 80s. Really, I thought it was a really cool logo, right? With the kind of like the G and the Texas, Texas like outline and stuff like that in there. And the Gamblers are a fantastic name overall. And I'm not just saying that because I place a wager here and again. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it, like if they're going to do it, it should be hard considered moving this team out of Texas, but somewhere else. A lot of other people have talked about how the Northeast deserves another team. A lot of people have talked about how West Coast would really, really be great for a team. I don't agree with the West Coast so much. I would agree with the Northeast. Your Jersey Generals, Boston. Oh man, they actually. I think it was the Markcast actually, guys. I'm not sure if anybody watches that one, but the Markcast talking about all the names that have been trademarked and stuff like that. Canton Bulldogs, sure, okay. You know, another team up there. We do not need another team in the that region. I don't really, ask your Texans, okay? I don't really, geographically, that would be the South. When people say the South, they mean the Southeast. They mean, the Bible Belt. That's what they mean to me. There is only two teams there if you count Memphis, Tennessee in there, which I kind of don't really. I don't see really a reason to move any other team except for maybe Memphis, like again. And I talked about this on the Polar Opposites. Last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that. If they were going to move, take them back down to New Orleans. Like take that showboat right on down, sink it into the Gulf of Mexico, and then swim ashore on into New Orleans and continue what I hope to be better than an absolute middling or piss poor performance in the sport of gridiron football. That's going to be it there for our talks. Let's go ahead now. Transition on in to our Week 8 preview. I was so close. Our Week 8 review. The Memphis Showboats visiting on into to the Michigan Panthers. Coming into this game, the only thing you really need to know is that we have clinched. Memphis has been, in case you haven't watched a single snap of this league whatsoever. The only thing you really need to know is that the Memphis Showboats are one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league overall, like tied for the worst record, lower the standings than anything, offense, defense. We were favored by 9 points. I liked that, or 8.5 technically is what I took. We'll see how that works out. So let's start off. We got the ball first. Oh, yeah, and this is an example of Lewerke. One of the questions that I posed last week coming into this is that we need to more establish who is going to be a starting quarterback. I'm not against a two-quarterback system, but between Brian Lewerke and Bryce Perkins, I think that Bryce Perkins has established himself, even before this game, coming in as the better quarterback, especially when you're talking about multiple threats and not just throwing the ball. Something else we need to figure out was of course the defense and whatnot. How we're gonna deal with the temporary Kai Nakua concussion. He was out for a week, and the Frank Ginda obviously a couple weeks ago out for the entire season. Frank Ginda obviously a fantastic player within his own right. This is not exactly a tough team to have to prove that against, but real world experience is something that we needed coming into the last two games against the Houston Roughnecks this upcoming week, which I'll talk about in the preview, and of course the USFL Championship preview, full on preview by the way, because it's going to be in Birmingham, as is the USFL Championship, even if we win out and say the Birmingham Stallions lose out, by the way. Let's get back into this. So that was Lewerke getting the work in around the field a little bit.
Big gain on the play, 31 yards. Lewerke from the shotgun. Over the middle. All the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Cole Hicatini! Let's freaking go! Love it. He has been a bailout factor in a lot of different ways. Pressure relief valve is what I've been calling him so far. Cole Hicatini just shows up fantastically, lines up off, yeah, as you can see, like a little bit of movement, then moves on the other side, and doesn't even line up on 78 right there. Cut to the middle, perfect stuff, fantastic, 6 points on the board. Hope this isn't too much of a spoiler, guys, but let's go ahead and watch the extra point conversion attempt.
So for they go after the point after.
Where. Now, folks, this is bad for multiple reasons. And, you know, I might have been memeing a little bit, but this is bad. We'll see why.
Michigan going for
Dead ball, but you see it, bam, right there. It looks, the left leg is what shakes a little bit, but the right leg, you can't really see it from right there. Again, no spoilers or whatever else like that. We'll be looking at, it was the right thigh, not the knee, thank goodness.
Hurt his knee apparently on that play. And had to be helped
it's a hamstring. He's holding it, but it was the thigh, not the knee. Thankfully.
Is part of this two-running back tandem with Matthew Colburn that has been dynamic and very productive.
So he missed the point after conversion. Take a look. This is the highlights, not just Michigan Panthers, folks.
And he's the most sacked quarterback. He goes to the air on the first play and connects with David Davis. Bye-bye.
To anyone, I would say that David Davis is not an incredibly talented player on a team that can't do a whole lot with him. I would say,
You can't handle the truth.
fantastic stuff. Burn him all day long. Would kind of cool at this up. I don't know. Obviously, kind of usually plays on the other side. 6-6. Let's take a look at the extra point conversion. Always dangerous, man. Always dangerous. 2-point conversion attempt. Right there, dropped. That was for Papali, I think? Or Sage Surratt?
Not only with the UFL as a fan, but coming the regular season,
all right.
Of course, with the NFL.
Yeah, I can't wait to
Here we go.
hear that.
I want to.
I think I'm the same as all football fans. We can't wait to hear Tom in the booth calling the NFL action on Fox.
Huge fat disclaimer, all right? No shade to the GOAT. No shade to Tom Brady, no shade to the GOAT whatsoever. I can't imagine I'd ever watch this, but whatever, right? I'm a little bit up in the air about how quickly he was brought in, and then how quickly other commentators, even other commentators who were successful NFL players, just immediately just dropped all the way down. $375 million for 10 years as well. We have not heard. I haven't heard Tom Brady call a full game yet. Okay, not saying the man has, you know, CTE, can't do it. Not saying he doesn't have the chops for it. Definitely not saying that he has the football insider knowledge and the ability to really do fantastic color commentary and whatnot. But the unproved part of it, and the fact that I think the Fox just knows, oh, hey, we'll bring Tom Brady in, people will start watching because of that, which is true, is, I got to say, it's not great from my standpoint, from a commentator standpoint, because I was not, you know, an NFL player. I was not never been a top player of any of the competitions that I've ever casted, and this is indicative of a theme that myself and other commentators who are not big streamers, who are not, you know, are already famous from various competitions have, and that's that, like, our jobs are consistently being given over to people who are popular but have not necessarily proven themselves under the microphone, have not proven that they can melt a mic. Yeah, Luke Kuechly, I think, proved that thoroughly. People loved him, and immediately, wasn't even a question. Tom Brady comes in, he is number one. Luke Kuechly and his partner, number two. That's all I got to say.
Here's Terry Wright.
Oh, here, let's put this forward. There we go. Wes Hills goes out. We don't know it yet, but he's going to be injured for a little while. This is Matt Colburn right there, not giving up, and big fat runs. Absolutely love it. He's always got the nice spin. I love this. Oh, here we go. Right through the hands. This is Devin Gray right here. Through the hands. You got to catch this every single time. Well, no spoilers, folks. We'll talk about the stats in just a little bit. Devin Gray learned his lesson right there. How about we say that? 3rd and 11.
And they can pick up a first down at the 2. They go to the end zone.
Clear defensive pass interference, right? They'll replay, but you guys can watch it.
Butler there on the coverage of Colbert.
Colburn goes out as a receiver here. Cannot hold him like that, folks. That right there. Can't do that. So this is a free first down. Why do anything else but, right?
Colburn again. This
Colburn right up the middle.
finding
That's going to
his
be
way
for Theax.
into the end zone for the score.
All right, guys. We have the opportunity for an extra point conversion. What do you think we're going to do with it?
Hands this one off, and not even close on this one, but the
Not even
touchdown still
close.
stands.
Not even close.
You can't handle the truth.
Nakua in a big way.
Or sorry, I put the wrong one.
League in interceptions as well. He's out with a concussion. Pass.
Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it.
Caught. Brooks. Deep. Better every week. Here
So,
comes the
they get the
blitz.
ball back after we fail to put an extra point conversion. Kilkus throws after pressure. Easy throw right into the hands and maintains. Papali not able to break this one up.
Gets the
And
interception for
to an
Michigan.
extent, if you watch this game, obviously there's more points scored without, no spoilers or whatever else like that. But to an extent, this is really where the momentum of this game changed, right? You spend 3:16, so you spend 12 minutes or so just scoring. No field goal attempts, no extra point conversions either, but no field goal attempts, just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, right? Ours, then theirs, then ours. Again, ours, Memphis getting penalties, so kind of given over to us a little bit. Regardless, ours either way. Bam. So this is where the momentum shifts a little bit because this looks like it's going to be a shootout, right? A 1-for-1 all the way through. Cook is just trying to draw up another long play that David Davis completely burned our safety and corner on earlier. Trying to get this for numero dos, doesn't happen. This is Nate Brooks right here with the INT. We don't necessarily run away with it immediately, but there's a shift in momentum that's palpable here.
First turnover of the ball game goes in favor of this Panther defense.
And that's what's been hurting Memphis.
Right into the
and more
hands. You don't get much better than
specifically
that.
Case
Papali, I mean, he had the opportunity for an offensive pass interference, maybe,
Individually, most
or a
valuable,
defensive, or no, yeah, offensive pass interference. But then you start getting into really bad territories. Lewerke right here, kind of showing off the legs a little bit. I gotta say, I know I haven't been on as high on him recently. We'll look at the stats later, and obviously there's a clear winner there, but regardless. Let's see. So yeah, so we go forth. I'll spare you guys the long drive. We did not turn it into anything. This was a holding
That was
call.
a free play, so this
Guard. 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Cookus flushed out. Papali, first down. Showboats.
Oh, sorry. This is what I was talking about. So he throws it. This is Case Cook is throwing it. This is a free play though, so you can't really call this as an interception. Sorry guys, I got thrown up right here. Oh yeah, here we go. So replay third down. They get 3rd and 2 right at the outside. Short throw. Not against it whatsoever. Papali is always where he needs to be. The leaning tower of Papali. Darius Victor. Yep, Darius Victor. Out it goes. Oh no, Case Cook has freaks it up once. Almost said a different word there. And this is of course going to be a penalty for them. This is fantastic. Like kind of knowing what is going to happen, forecasting here by Case Cookus. That's kind of a funny pause that I got there. But it's a great job from him realizing that this. Especially, let's watch it again. We can see who's on this side of the field, right? Everybody down. Offensive linemen and more. So there's number 75 maybe right there, but he even slows down right there. Number 7 is here. If Case Cookus does not get this out, this is a scoop and score the other way, 100%. And which would have, of course, been 2 forced turnovers back to back, almost 3 given the interception earlier. It was on a free play. I'll give anybody a pass on throwing a ball that was technically caught by an opponent when they're doing so for a free play because why not? Why not toss it up?
It's a 10-yard penalty, but they probably lose possession of the ball if he doesn't knock it out of bounds, Joel.
Yeah, so spare you guys the drama right here. It is 10 yards. They go 3 and out. We go 3 and out. They go 3 and out. Let's take this to there's a little bit more action. How about that? Another fat sack right there.
Matthew Colburn is that running back. Instead, Perkins chased out of
Dude, the legs on this guy,
He
man.
can be dangerous with his legs. First down and
And
more.
easy, and just the ease with which he goes through these seams and then gets to the outside as well. A little bit of pressure. So there's a fantastic run, and still just dips, like kind of cuts the head, and just still gets inside. Still throws it off.
Avoided the
It's
rush
Knight.
and hooked up with Terry Wright.
Right, excuse me.
Backfield is empty. Perkins over the middle of the field, wide open, and all the way. Gray, touchdown.
All the way, Gray. Do we have a new name? Do we have a new name?
Extend the lead on a 50-yard
Gray is the way, folks. Gray is the way.
on a 50-yard TD pass from Perkins to Gray.
And let's go back to that and look at those two safeties. So this is why I was talking about the middle of the field. They're going to be wide
Yep.
like that.
This is the second time we burned them. It was Cole Hicotini with a very similar route, right?
And let's go back to that
Right here.
and look at those two safeties. So this is why I was talking about the middle of the
Yep.
field. They're
The
gonna
zone
be
coverage
wide
gets
like that. You
completely
gotta
blown right here. We pull a
exploit
receiver
linebackers
over
who were
into the
low.
deeper zone right here.
And with
Corner
low
bite, or the
linebackers,
safety,
two
excuse
high
me.
safeties, Anthony
Oh,
Bowden,
bites on that
he
one.
cannot
And this
get
is
in the
just
middle of
enough
the
for,
field. So as soon as
well,
you get over him,
for the
Gray
guy,
is
for
right
the
there, and
Devin
that's a
Gray.
beautiful throw.
That's
A great job by Bryce Perkins.
this.
On
Well, this
time
should be
and
his
on
second.
target.
Excuse me.
And that ball out in front of the face of Gray allows him to run through it. So the
Of course, the other one was right through the
yards
fingers,
are
and
crucial.
you'll see.
And he gets
Oh,
it
you
in the
guys will
end
see.
zone, and
Yeah,
Bryce
you guys will
Perkins
see.
does a great job in that 2-minute series, driving his team for another score. Middle seam route. This is your guy.
2-point conversion, guys. What do you think is going to happen? We missed 2 1-point conversions earlier, all right? A pass play and a run play.
From the 15. Sims in.
Marcus Sims. Marcus Sims. I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a little spoiler here. That is one of 3. 1, 2, 3. Marcus Sims played the entire game. One of 3 games that was one of 3 passes that were thrown to Marcus Sims. The only pass in the red zone that was even attempted. He only caught one of them as well. Something to keep in mind.
Complete. Memphis will get the ball to start the second half. There's Cookus over the middle, and he's
Fantastic
caught.
pass, gotta say.
Sage
17
Surratt
seconds right here.
into
Sage
Michigan.
Surratt continues to be just. Cookus is able to get it to Papali. Adams, sometimes Jonathan Adams, sometimes we really didn't see him do too much in this game. He's only targeted twice. Papali, though. Also, yeah, Papali 8 for 5. Sage Surratt 5 for 5.
Territory. They've still got 32 on.
Come
And
on.
he spikes
All right,
it
there
to
you go.
stop
So,
the clock.
yeah, without, any, oh, here you go. We'll watch it. This is the obvious last couple plays before the first half ends. Pass outside,
Out of the backfield,
Darius Victor.
and he's tripped up.
but that's the 8 yards or whatever that
Clock
they
is moving
need.
down to 4, 3.
Last time out, and see, when we talk about problems that the other head coaches have been having when it comes to just timeout management, clock management in general, but timeout specifically, you can't have that conversation without obviously C.J. Johnson of the Houston Roughnecks and surprising as it is, Wade Phillips of the San Antonio Brahmas. I'm not the first person to kind of speculate on how a record like theirs has come across, especially with so many like last-second W's and very, very questionable plays going into that, them just kind of, fortunately falling into the right place. Anyway, this is exactly what Memphis wanted going in with a single timeout. It was a great job them spiking instead of using their timeout. They have used their timeout. 55 yards is up, and 55 yards is good. Didn't have a whole lot of space under that one, but hey, the man ain't Jake Bates. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Memphis.
So yeah, 9-18 first half. They get the ball off here. As you can see, decent little return. I feel like the 32-37 is pretty standard as far as returns here for the UFL, which of course makes them categorically better than the NFL, or at least the NFL in seasons past. They are adopting a new way. Is that the better way? That's for smarter, more football-wise folks to determine. Not I. Memphis coming out in the beginning of the first half.
Here's Cookus. Has all kinds of
No
time
whiz.
and runs
No
out of it.
whiz.
Second
Does have all
sack
kinds of
for
time.
this
That's a good point from that
Michigan
commentator
defense.
there.
Jared Marino brings him down.
Man loses a
Cookus
shoe.
lost the shoe.
And
Got
they're just
sacked
getting
out of his
overlooked so
shoes.
much coverage of Case Cookus.
Here we go.
10 yards on the opening play of the second half. Do we blame that on Devin?
So he gets that out.
Here's Cookus going deep.
A
What an
fantastic
adjustment and a catch
reception.
by D. Anderson.
Fantastic reception right there. D. Anderson right here, 2 for 2. But as we see, Cookus takes a massive hit right there, and is even trying to like get up afterwards. The man's been hit a whole lot. You can't be surprised when he's slow to get up after another one in this one. And this is just perfectly put. Like, this is a good throw, but D. Anderson really has to fight to get in a position to get this one without any kind of interference, of course.
That's about as difficult a catch as you can make. Straight down the field, and
I don't think they're going to replay the hit. I'm waiting for that. Hang on.
After he let go of that ball.
Here we go. And this is clean. This is clean. The hit mostly comes from up top right here.
Get over to the sideline. He was holding his ribs.
Wait, what? I don't remember this. I remember him getting hit like a little bit harder right here, but him like getting up and then looking is kind of surprising to me. Anyway, yeah, Josh Love coming in now. This was, yeah, he played against, or played for us last season, excuse me. Obviously, as you can see, 60% is decent completion, but 13 and 10 is not great for touchdown to interception ratio. Josh Love, all the time in the world, was purchased there. Fantastic throw. Was this a... I can't remember if that's a pass interference. Yeah, I guess he was kind of like diving on him. Let's watch it again here. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Josh Love sits back, sets the back foot, perfectly slotted. Now, when I say, folks, that Josh Love comes in and does better than Case Cook is slotting, what I don't mean is like the deep balls, because we already seen a couple of those and balls that like get there and whatnot. But Case Cook was taking these risks and not having them pay off. This is just like literally just getting the ball right in there, just right in there, perfectly done. Gotta respect it. David Davis, numero dos. Number two.
Davis wins, and now it's just a matter of
that's perfect.
He controlled
perfect.
That while he was going
and honestly, like knee down on the ground right there, just gets it right and supporting himself and everything. This is as good as it gets. I'd love to see Daywood on our team, man. Like especially with some of like the seasoned starters kind of going out. We'll talk about that a little bit. Sorry, we'll talk about that a little bit. But I love how Mike Nolan has done a fantastic job of replacing men when they do get injured or are out for any length of time for any reason. There's a guy out with COVID earlier this year, right? Immediately, right there. This should not be any surprise here, folks, but another missed extra point conversion. That is now 0 for 4, right?
But the touchdown makes it a 3-point game.
0 for 4, maybe 0 for... Yeah, 0 for 4. Or 0 for 5, excuse me. 3 touchdowns for us, 2 touchdowns for them. All right, skipping ahead. Oh, here we go, yep. Let's go. Let's see what Lorcan can do. He's got his opportunities and whatnot, right? He's only 5 and 8. Man's only got 72 yards.
Milwaukee with the big pass and the big catch.
But wait, there's more.
Big game. Holding on the offensive line.
Talked about it last week. Talked about it the week before that. Talked about it literally the first damn week I've been doing this, man. Like it seems like not only are we getting more penalties like per play or per game or whatever else like that than other teams, but they're also just seeming like they're coming on such big freaking gains like this one, man. Trey Quinn was mostly held like relatively quiet rest of the day and stuff. But this is a 30-40 yard pass from Lewerke. Doesn't get a whole lot of those, folks. So yeah, and then we get bailed out immediately afterwards, like kind of gets us great field position. We go 3 and out at this point though. So let's look at it. 51 yards. This should be easy. This is inside. It's in a dome. Wait, what? Jake Bates is mortal? The man's missed several already, but like none of them have been inside so far. He had, like he just said, Jake Bates has been perfect all season, especially when he's ever inside. The first time he played outside, he missed one, right? Which of course was his first miss of his professional career ever. So, skipping ahead right here, Memphis comes back. This is the end of a longer drive. Let's watch this last play. Yeah, batted down right here. Fantastic job. And our Michigan Panthers defense playing through the whistle and whatnot, because there's already been plenty of this already. Memphis has been the advantor. Sorry, John DiFilippo. 37-yard attempt, not that long. Hits it pretty much right down the middle of the right down the middle. We got a high ball game on our hands, folks. But little do they know. Little do they know.
You know, Le'Veon Bell really
Wait, hang on.
called 15 first. And a first down.
There we go. This is the one I wanted to show you guys. Bam, up the middle. Contact, doesn't matter. Up to the 18.
20 and another Michigan first. Inside the 10.
All right, there you go.
Advantage of it.
The outside right here.
Down inside the 10. You know, Le'Veon Bell
I said my man was hungry. Said he has not gotten done eating quite yet. Perfectly done. Perkins even sets his feet first. Noah freaking Gray. Let's go. Devin Gray. I don't know why I said Noah Gray. Sorry. But wait, there's more.
An eligible player downfield. Offense.
This is such a bad penalty suit too. Such a bad penalty. Oh, they're not going to replay it? Yeah, so basically the offensive lineman like literally is like running off to that corner a solid 2 seconds before the clearest flag of the game. Oh, what's this? It's Perkins staying on his feet. A running quarterback in Michigan? What? This is this kind of stuff that he can do. Perkins literally wins this game in the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. No spoilers, whatever. That's Matt Colburn. I believe that was a second. Yeah, that was a second right there. And let's see. Yep. This is the three-point conversion. So this is the three-point conversion to go to 9 to force them to get a touchdown, and then three-point conversion as well. After we've already gotten 6, obviously with us 6 ahead, they need to do that. I love this play. I also loved it watching it because and if you're wondering, hey now, why is he so close? We attempted the extra point for 2, I think, and they had a face mask, if I remember right, which brought it up, and with the rules and stuff that allowed us to go for for 3 at the 2-yard line. Fake handoff, Perkins right there. You gotta catch that, bro. That's Cole Hicatini. That's not somebody I'm gonna criticize frequently. But Cole Hicatini right there, the man got targeted twice, both times in the end zone. First time he takes it all the way down there after weaving his way through. This time it literally hits him in the hands and he can't do anything with it. This was the difference between a nail biter and like a comfortable lead, and we do not take it. So.
Got a hand on it, and that was the difference.
But it's not going to matter because they get the ball back right here. They mess up on the first down right here. That's going to be a lot of pressure, a big old blitz. There's nobody within 3 feet of this guy. I will. Yeah, we're already at like 30-something minutes, so I'll save you the drama right there. They attempt something 3 times. One time they actually do get the ball out, so it's not actually a tackle for loss, but basically, excuse me, not basically because we didn't get the yardage, but was essentially after he got there, Love just got the ball out right here. This was not good. This is very, very not good. That could have been that could have been the way the Memphis Showboats won their second game of the entire UFL season, right there. It's not, again, special teams is not something I've been complaining about too much, but again, I will save you guys the drama. This is just, wastetime.exe. That would be the program written for the rest of the game, and it just makes sense. Ideally, you would get within the, you'd get within up here, and if they had timeouts, you kick a field goal to go up 9, and then we're talking about 8.5 hitting, whatever. Doesn't happen. And after that first down, they have no more timeouts. We get a fresh set of downs and just kneel it all the way through. Oh no, excuse me, that was the 4th and 1. They got it down right there. Go for it. Bryce Perkins gets it. There's no more timeouts. That is our final score, folks. Oh, you know what? Let's go back to topics because I can't remember where I'm at. That was the end of the review preview. Let's take a look now at our stats for the game, right? And the big standout ones so far. So, and my continued crusade here to prove that Bryce Perkins has earned his spot, has proved himself that he deserves the starter right here. How about 7 for 9 on 100 yards plus a touchdown, no INT, 78%, a rating of 213, about an extra third over old Brian Lewerke down there, and adding on the ground, what is that? 955, an average of 6 per. One of those could have very easily been a touchdown as well. Brian Lewerke, this is great. This is also against a team named the Memphis Showboats. You take all of this and you reduce it, given that you're playing defense against a good team, I would say this is, 3 for like -2 or something like that. 8 or 7 even for, in the 30s here. But that's still fantastic. Bryce Perkins, again, I don't know what else he needs to do. Other standout stats, passing yards and rushing yards, only a 22-yard differential in the UFL, and then forcing, of course, a 5 times differential between the passing yards and the rushing yards for the Memphis Showboats.
The numbers, basically. What do they mean?
What do they mean? Obviously, fantastic as well. It's the sacks here. Oh, hang on, where is it just at? Sacks. There you go. 4 for 36. They only got to Perkins or Lewerke once. They did get a couple of tackles for losses, but R2 could be combined here. Fantastic. Other standout stats. Yeah, talk about it now. I love how Mike Nolan has come forth, and it almost doesn't matter the position. You'd be really hard pressed to replace a Jake Bates, for example. Having to do a Matt Colburn replacement after a Wes Hills replacement, I think, would be really difficult. But the simple fact that Colburn is there and able to go forth and flourish speaks to Mike Nolan's ability as a coach. We've had our receivers come in and out, just revolving door right here when it comes to injuries, when it comes to mostly Marcus Sims, sometimes Trey Quinn just getting really heavily covered because they know they assumed, that is the massive main lion's share of our passing offense right here. Obviously, if you want to talk about revolving door, just can't have that conversation without we started with EJ Perry. It was Etling after that. Etling broke his wrist. Perry, out for the entire season. Brian Lewerke, Perkins comes in finally for our 2-quarterback system. They get a couple of options so far, and it still kind of seems like they were. It was mostly split. I think Perkins got a little bit more. I'd have to look at the numbers or whatever else like that to really confirm. But yeah, I gotta say this is one of our worst. This is one of our worst played. I mean, we literally left at least 9 points. At least 9 points. The David Gray miss, the Jake Bates miss from 51 yards, which is easy peasy for him, and he got the distance. He just didn't get it, down the uprights, or in the middle of the uprights. And then, it's 4 touchdowns. Four touchdowns that we didn't get a single point of. Here we go. 4 touchdowns. Nothing. This is inaccurate. Because we didn't kick any field goals. We only got touchdowns. This is inaccurate. I go from praising this portal and stuff like that to realizing stuff like that. Anyway, this is a 1-point attempt rush, a 1-point attempt pass. Marcus Sims dropped that one. It might have been come off of a penalty, and that's why they're not calling it. We missed it, and there was a penalty, so they just pulled it off. I'm not really 100% sure, but we went for 4 of them anyway. So the 6 total touchdowns, not a single point extra added on to it. This is obviously a 42-point game, and if I remember right, the over/under for this game was 44.5. Literally that 1-point conversion hits. It hits the over. Jake Bates' field goal hits the over. Anybody who took the under here saw a lot more than what I did, which was not 0 for 6 on extra points. This is just unsustainable. I gotta say. Memphis getting a longer field goal as well as a shorter field goal to remain competitive. Still only 12 points via touchdown and extra point scored and whatnot. Talking about more standout stats. Here we go to the Michigan Panthers receiving core. I mean, just look at this. These four names right here. I mean, even all 7 of these names, right? Who would have guessed, week 3 or whatever, that Marcus Sims would be the bottom of this? Matt Colburn, obviously the receiver, that makes sense. Terry Wright coming in, kind of as, almost like that whole Cole Hicatini release valve. Fantastic time, only looked for him once, caught it, love it. Trey Quinn was the number 2 receiver for a long while, and still not getting more yardage or targeting any more than our tight end or anything else. Nobody putting points up there. Devin Gray given his chance to shine and doing that thing all day long. Samson Nakua, 2 passes, 2 receptions, 40 yards. Absolutely love it. We also only have 20 attempted passes, 13 of them caught. You can't really be that surprised when when the breakdown is like this. They just weren't. They weren't covering Devin Gray as well as they should have. They weren't really giving the man the respect that he'd earned, and he showed that he can, show in this game that he can do. And second, he was burning a couple of corners and whatnot on individual plays. The same play that Cole Hicatini and Devin Gray ran was literally start off on the left side, cut to the middle, weave your way through, get 6 points. It seemed pretty easy. I would challenge you guys to go forth and look at the top say 5 or 4 or 5 receivers, and like for other teams, it's pretty much the same receivers all the way throughout. They're gonna maintain their 1, 2, and 3 with another person coming in, a tight end, maybe something else like this. Excuse me, and then when those receivers go out, you see it very, very clear on the scoreboard the next week, right? The Mike Nolan, maybe more than any other thing, has done a fantastic job of finding skillful players, putting them in the position, then for whatever reason when they cannot play anymore, finding another player that can fill that role and do their job. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see. With that, I think that's going to be about it for our preview, right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look-see here. Yeah, stand outside. Oh, player of the week. Excuse me. So player of the week. Oh, I mean, I have it. Oh my goodness, I have it right here. I have it right yonder. This is going to be very obviously Devin Gray. Man's also put up 1,000 rushing yards within for the career and whatnot. Not for the season, of course. That'd be amazing. For the career and stuff, and also added a 6 points onto that one as well. I want to do Colburn, but the way that he's been performing just seems like, I mean, he's a do everything, right? He's targeted twice on the receptions and stuff like that. A lot of times I like giving player of the week to a player that like performs just way better than we expected, and I did not have high expectations for Devin Gray coming into that. He could have done 5 targets for 3 catches for like 45 yards, touchdown or not, and I'd still be very, very happy. I came into this expecting a Marcus Sims, Samson Nakua, and a Trey Quinn. Not necessarily in that order, maybe even Samson Nakua on top. The fact that nobody was targeted more than 2 times outside of Marcus Sims, who was, I think all those times were in the all those drops, were in the end zone, either on touchdown attempts or on extra point conversions, whatever. Player of the week, hands down, Devin Gray. Here we go. Let's take a look now at our injury report as we talk about the Houston Roughnecks game. Houston Roughnecks coming off their best performance of the season, even in a loss, only losing by 7 or so to the Birmingham Stallions. I think that was 35-28, if my memory serves. Covering ×2. This is the biggest spread in the UFL coming into this. I think there were 16.5 point underdogs. The Houston Roughnecks were. If we're looking at trends, right? The Houston Roughnecks offense is still trending downwards. Now they could obviously have Hogan or Henderson, coming in to take over the quarterback spot. That would be very, very interesting. Obviously, Garantano is out, has not participated in a while, has not participated in a couple of practices, I should say. And Sinnott has been coming back in and kind of being relied on. We talked about this over there at the H-Town or what is it called? I just had the name right here, excuse me. The H-Town Pick'ems, right? Yeah, H-Town Pick'em, not Pick'ems, not plural. Reed Sinnott taking over the offensive play calling for this game at the end of the last game is indicative of their head coaching staff. Let's just say that. I'm not going to pile on right here, guys. It is a simple fact that we have a lot of players that are at least limited right here. Where I'm really looking at is Trey Quinn and Marcus Sims, obviously these so-called skilled positions. But the next here is our defensive line, or our linebackers and stuff like that, right? Noah Dawkins, limited, did not participate 2 days in a row. Breland Speaks. Breland Speaks may not have been getting all the solo tackles in the world, but when the man gets tackles, he lays them out in completely fair fashion, right? Not trying to injure anybody, and he forces fumbles. We've seen this 3 times so far over the league, and only 7 games. I'd say that's pretty darn good. Basically 1 every other, right? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's see. But looking at this game, just a short series of things that we really need to do. If we're not going to finally give Perkins the nod as the best quarterback here who needs to start and whatnot, then I would say it'd be in this game, right? Against the Houston Roughnecks. Houston Roughnecks eliminated. Even if we get top seeding, it does not matter, as I've already complained about on this episode. This is now the time that you start wanting to rest players and whatnot. Obviously, we have the 2 quarterback system, but if we look at a Matthew Colburn going out and we have to replace the running back position again after Wes Hills has gone out, this is not inspire joy, right? This would only lead to more pressure on Perkins and more Perkins rushes after pressure and whatnot, and I don't want to see that. get a little work in for some drives. Even like honestly, guys, like coming into this, I don't see this is like necessarily like a must-win game. You know what I'm saying? Line's like 3.5 right now. I definitely see that if it doesn't happen, it's going to be off of Jake Bates' field goal in the last couple of seconds to win, and so they only win by like 2 or something like that. Yeah, and especially working in after we take an early lead, because it just seems like, especially the past few weeks, we've been much more of like a first half team that goes forth and just manages clock in the second half and whatnot. Not saying it's a bad way to play, but it that conservative way of playing sometimes will not win you games. We got to figure out the running back situation is in. Toa Tua from college here in Nevada. Is going to be coming forth and coming in as well. Obviously not sure if he's starting, but there's reason to believe, obviously logic would follow that Matthew Colburn and Toa will be coming forth here and splitting the rock, at least splitting carries of the rock, I should say, at least a little bit. Wide receiver room, again, you really got to figure this one out if Marcus Sims and Trey Quinn are out. If in no other way than like obviously Devin Gray and Samson Nakua would be up there. How much more do you involve Terry Wright? If you don't involve Cole Hicatini, you're literally just throwing, honestly, just shooting yourself in the foot. Let's flip. Mostly we're talking about positions here. Obviously, first quarterback there, and then the running back. Like I said, with Toa and Hills being out. Then we're in wide receiver room. Trey Quinn, Sims, both possibly out. Very glad that we have Gray and Sampson. Thank you very much again, Mike Nolan, for getting guys in here, getting them reps, getting them participation, them allowing them to shine when it's always possible for our previous week's stars in the receiving core to it's possible for them to go out. Let's see. Here's the other thing. So Mike getting out obviously a few weeks ago. Kind of cool. Will be back or should be back in. He's not on the. Yeah, not on the injury report here. It was just for a concussion. Frequently is done about that long. Usually it's just a single just a single week out. But Levi Bell over to the IR as well. We have picked up, that is Bumper Pool. Yes, that's the man's name. Inside linebacker to replace Frank Ginda and Mike Tafua. I hope that I'm saying that in my defensive end. But what I look at this here, especially for that front seven right here, is for the Michigan Panthers defense to get some like real on the field practice. Yes, it's get the Houston Roughnecks. Before we have the preview of the USFL Championship, again, because there's an exact one, because it's the away game, because we were told to go screw ourselves. What are the and then the last point here that I have is just one of the best things that Mike Nolan is doing, again, is replacing players all the way through. Now to our last, we're getting on in towards the end here before I start recording the Panthers Picks podcast. It's going to be much shorter because I was in the H-Town Pick'em episode, guys. I was the guest on the H-Town Pick'em this week. We went through all of that. I will link the episode in the comments and whatnot. So the Panthers Picks episode will be much shorter, just kind of like me honestly being like, hey, this is what I'm picking, and this is a short explanation of why. I know last week's episode was super short as well, guys. The audio basically, I needed to go do something, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have the ability to bring all my setup with me. I could bring a laptop and a headset, and so that's what I wanted to do. That's what I got for you guys. If you hated it, scream it in the comments. If you loved it, then sing my adorations down there in the comments. Let's talk about this a little bit before we give all of our shout-outs and whatnot. The new trophy here. Very simplistic, I got to say. Obviously, this will be presented at the Dome in America Center, St. Louis, Missouri. That was confirmed earlier. I'm not even guys. I know I was complaining so much about taking away home field potential from us and stuff like that. But given that the way that St. Louis, the citizens of St. Louis have been showing up, or the fans of the St. Louis Battlehawks, at least, even if they don't live in St. Louis, Missouri, have been showing up. I'm not against giving them this as a reward, even if St. Louis isn't in, which I'm pretty sure they're going to be. I am not against that whatsoever, giving them that opportunity, that even if they're not a huge Battlehawks fan, to go forth and watch two of the best teams in the UFL duke it out in the championship. The Freedom Cup, that's what it was called last year. I'm not sure what it's called this year. It probably has the name, actually. Crafted by esteemed designers at Society Awards in Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out Charlotte Carolines. The UFL Championship Trophy doesn't say anything. Solid aluminum. Stands 21 inches tall, diameter 14.5 inches. Mounted on. Okay. Well, all right. Very simplistic. I get it. It's in the shape of a football. I kind of feel like they should have continued like this, a little bit more, and rounded it out right here or something. I don't know. Let me know what you think, guys. Again, I think there's almost a little bit excuse me, a little bit too simplistic. That said, getting towards the end of the episode, I meant for this to be a shorter one, and it was not. Let's take a look at our schedule here again. Houston Roughnecks. I feel like it's pretty fair to call this one a W. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. To go up to 7-2. The Birmingham Stallions there. Given that neither teams have anything to play for, I'll look at the lines and everything else like that next week and stuff like that, folks. But I think that's a hard game to call because again, neither team has anything to play for, and only will want to, save their best players for the next week for the actual USFL Championship. That does matter. That does determine who is going down or who is going down and going forth to the USFL Championship or UFL Championship. Excuse me. That said, I want to go ahead, give our shout-outs. Oh, first, I should say, at H-Town Pick'em, Pick'em, P-I-C-K-E-M, no spaces, no underscores, no apostrophes, no nothing like this, guys. I was a guest on there. If you guys are interested in laying wagers and whatnot, we have the Michigan Panthers Picks podcast. I'll have that coming out here in just a little bit as well. It'll be much more abbreviated because we had a longer-form video one with all the guys, all the awesome guys over there at the H-Town Pick'em podcast and whatnot. Again, that'll be linked down bottom, but no matter if you're just interested in the league overall, not a particular team, that would be more so your tell me about it's here at MNCVKG right there, or your polar opposites, kind of our fun, more like argument show that you have seen me on a couple of times so far. A really fun time. Or if you're a super fan of one of the teams, obviously got the Battle Talk show, with Noah there for the St. Louis squad. Brahma Bullpen, Josh over there, out there in the bullpen making podcasts. DC Defenders and the Defending Football show right there. The Hellraisers podcast, obviously they have not seen a whole lot of dubs. They were eliminated a long time ago. Still very interesting content and whatnot. Roughnecks Rundown. I stole the background for the Polar Opposites episode. That's with Ace over there at Ace UFM, also kind of the leader of us Ragtag Renegades. Well, I can't call them Renegades because that's a team. Ragtag Vagabonds. How about that? Of the UFM, the United Football Media Group. Stallions Run over there with Buck and Scout, as well as, where I skipped. Oh, yeah, the Captain's Log and the Sink or Swim. So we're getting, I guess H-Town Pickup is technically the third gambling segment that we're going to be doing here for the UFM. The Captain's Log is the other one. He's got some fantastic picks over there and made some money. Tell me about it, like I just said, and of course here the Panthers PAW-DCAST. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you have not commented, like, subscribe, all that cool stuff, send me, add, subscribe, all that cool stuff. I'd really appreciate it. This is all for fun and stuff like that, but comments and stuff like that really make it feel worthwhile. Appreciate you guys watching. Check out the Panthers Picks episode and the H-Town Pick'ems episode that I was in earlier, and let's go Panthers. Let's hunt.